He's done it again. Shashi Tharoor, Congress MP, has publicly heaped praise on the Narendra Modi government. Tharoor, while speaking at the Raisina Dialogue, praised Modi diplomacy, as it's called now, for the government's stand on the Russia-Ukraine conflict, an issue that his own party has criticized the government for previously. But clearly, that doesn't stop Tharoor. That didn't matter to him. He went ahead and expressed his admiration for how the Modi government has handled the entire crisis, even saying he has egg on his face for having questioned it previously. We'll talk about really what this means. What is Tharoor trying to indicate when he's praising the Modi government, not once but repeatedly? But first, listen in to what he said now.
So far, I must say that what we've seen from the press statements by both the Prime Minister and by President Trump are very encouraging, because it looks like some of the big concerns we all had have been addressed. For example, on the question of trade and tariffs, they've decided to sit down together and do a serious negotiation that will conclude by the fall, which is the autumn, September, October of this year. I think that's a very good outcome, because otherwise the fear was there might be some hasty decisions made in Washington which would have affected our exports. This way there is time to discuss and negotiate. I welcome that. That Espen will understand, because he and I talked about all this in my
pull out for you and play the reaction from Shashi Tharoor that sparked the entire talk now about whether he's considering a party switch. Let's put out for you what Tharoor exactly said at the Raisina Dialogue, where in fact he spoke about the Modi government stand on the Russia-Ukraine war. Let's play that out for you.
There was one person in the parliamentary debate who actually criticized the Indian position at the time, back in February 22, on the well-worn grounds that Espen will understand, because he and I talked about all this in my UN days, that there was a violation of the UN Charter, that there had been a violation of the principle of the inviolability of borders, of the sovereignty of a member state, namely Ukraine, and we had always stood for the inadmissibility of the use of force to settle international disputes, and all of those principles, I said, had been violated by one party, and we should have condemned it. Well, a couple of years later, 3 years later, it does look like I'm the one with egg on my face, because clearly the policy has meant that India has actually a prime minister who can hug both the president of Ukraine and the president of Moscow 2 weeks apart and be accepted in both places. And therefore, India is in a position where it can make a difference to a lasting peace, if it was so required, in ways that very few countries would be able to.
So you heard what Mr. Tharoor said at Raisina Dialogue, and when he was asked about it later, again, he confirmed what his opinion was on really the conflict or on the war, hailing the Modi government, which we played for you first. This isn't the first time, however, that the Congress MP has endorsed a stand taken by the Modi government. He's referred previously to Prime Minister Modi as a tough negotiator. There was outrage then. And so Mr. Tharoor, after making that comment, had said he was misquoted. But listen for yourself exactly what Tharoor had said on Prime Minister Modi previously, and whether that is categorized as praise or not.
So far, I must say that what we've seen from the press statements by both the Prime Minister and by President Trump are very encouraging, because it looks like some of the big concerns we all had have been addressed. For example, on the question of trade and tariffs, they've decided to sit down together and do a serious negotiation that will conclude by the fall, which is the autumn, September, October of this year. I think that's a very good outcome, because otherwise the fear was there might be some hasty decisions made in Washington which would have affected our exports. This way there is time to discuss and negotiate. I welcome that. Who actually criticized...
Come out. The reason there's so much speculation is the timing. It was just weeks ago that we reported here on India Today that Tharoor was snubbed by the Congress High Command when he sought more power in the Kerala Congress. He had a one-on-one meeting with Rahul Gandhi, and here's what happened in that meeting. This was just a matter of a few weeks ago. Sources say that in that meeting with Rahul Gandhi, Tharoor had expressed his clear dissatisfaction because he believed he'd been sidelined and sought clarity on his position within the party. But Rahul Gandhi was unwilling to make any commitments. Rahul Gandhi refused to really tell Tharoor what his place is or for that matter give him any sort of position. Tharoor reportedly even voiced his frustration over being removed from the All India Professional Congress, which is a body that he founded. So he mentioned that as well. He mentioned the fact that he has limited opportunities to speak in Parliament. Let's move on and talk about really what Tharoor also has mentioned. He reportedly also questioned whether the party wanted him to shift focus to Kerala politics. But again, there was no clarity that he really received. Tharoor mentioned about, in fact, the All India Professional Congress, about limited opportunities to speak in Parliament. He then also questioned whether there's a bigger role for him in Kerala politics. But again, there too didn't receive any response. So these were the issues that Tharoor had essentially raised while meeting with Rahul Gandhi. So this is the other point that I already mentioned. Rahul Gandhi now in response reiterated that the Congress does not announce chief ministerial candidates before elections, leaving Tharoor without any clarity on his future role. And this is particularly in reference to Kerala, because next year is the elections in Kerala. Tharoor, as we've told you there, wanted a bigger role. Let's move on and tell you about how Rahul Gandhi gave no clear response. He'd also hinted at taking up responsibilities in the Congress youth wing. That's again something that Tharoor had mentioned. But Rahul Gandhi reportedly dismissed that idea too. So Tharoor mentioning one more issue of the youth wing, and then Rahul Gandhi dismissed that as well. So that's another issue that Tharoor brought up. Again, there was no sort of confirmation or affirmative response that came in from Rahul Gandhi. So this is what happened just a few weeks ago. He raised a slew of issues. None of it was addressed by the Congress High Command. And so the message was clear for Tharoor, essentially from this meeting, that the High Command didn't really look to pander to any of his needs, or for that matter to give him any crucial role in the Congress. So how has Congress reacted to this latest statement by Tharoor? Listen in.
Shashi Tharoor says, I am still wiping the egg off my face.
As I said, Mr. Shashi Tharoor went to the tough school of diplomacy, whereas I only studied law, so he's much more experienced than me to talk about diplomacy, so I have really no comments on his views.
Shashi Tharoor, who is party's MP and former Minister of State in External Affairs Ministry, has appreciated Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and he has said at the Raisina Dialogue that when Russia and Ukraine went on war, at that point of time he criticized Prime Minister Modi, but now he realizes that Modi's diplomacy was right. It has reaped good results for India.
I haven't heard him saying this thing, but as far as Mr. Shashi Tharoor is concerned, what is behind his mind and why did he ask this or said this should be asked from him only. I may not be able to comment what I have not heard, what I have not seen.
Okay, let's bring in Rahul Gautam, who tracks the Congress for us. Rahul, good evening. How really is the Congress seeing this latest statement from Shashi Tharoor? We just put out details of what happened a few weeks ago when Mr. Tharoor had met with Rahul Gandhi, and when clearly the message from the High Command seemed to be that, look, we're not going to accommodate you in any key position. So keeping that in mind, how is the Congress viewing what's happening today?
Good evening, Akshita. Yes, you rightly pointed out that this is not the first time when Mr. Shashi Tharoor has heaped praises over Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Earlier, he also did the same thing, and at that point of time, he was given an audience with Rahul Gandhi. Mr. K.C. Venugopal, who is the GSO, in fact, he phoned him, and as per our sources, he reprimanded him for making such statements. In fact, there were official statements that came in from Kerala leaders saying that one should stick to party's line and one should not stray away from party's stance. Now, this happened, barely a few weeks back, and now again, Mr. Tharoor has, in a way, endorsed the stand that was taken by Indian government. See, we have to understand that as far as AICC is concerned, there hasn't been any official word on this same issue. But the Kerala leader, we've been speaking with them, they are certainly not impressed with this statement coming just on the, just in a few months ahead of elections that are going to happen in Kerala. And they are saying that this actually seriously compromises the position of Congress party on various issues. So as far as Kerala Congress is concerned, they are absolutely not impressed. And you can expect that this issue will now be taken up by Kerala leaders to the very doorsteps of Rahul Gandhi, Mallikarjun Kharge, and they would seek a clarity as to what is the role of Shashi Tharoor going to be, because otherwise, if he is not reined in, clearly, many believe that it's going to be detrimental for parties' interests. But one last thing.
There will be questions. Sure, Rahul, go ahead.
BJP seems to be having a last laugh, Akshita.
We'll talk about that. But clearly, it's almost as if Tharoor is being pushed away by the High Command when they refuse to accommodate any of his requests. He sought repeated one-on-one meetings to seek more leadership roles. None of that really being addressed. So there will be questions about whether Tharoor has no choice but to really leave the Congress now. Is that the messaging that's really going across from the High Command to him? Thanks very much, Rahul, for joining us with those details. If Tharoor chooses to really take any sort of step with regards to, a political switch, he'll be joining a long list of Congress leaders who've jumped ship, who've left and dumped the party. Let's run you through that particular list and some of the biggest prominent faces of the Congress who left the party. Jyotiraditya Scindia being one, who left the Congress, joined the BJP. And he had, in fact, said that it's because the Kamal Nath government failed to fulfill promises. There was a lot of buzz, though, that Scindia also felt that he wasn't given enough responsibility in the party. Himanta Biswa Sarma, someone who was core to really the Congress High Command, was part of really the closest core of the party, left the party, joined the BJP. And he didn't hold back. When he quit, he put out details of why he did it, claiming that he was insulted by the Congress High Command, that Rahul Gandhi denied meeting him, said he has no time for him but had time for his dog. Amrinder Singh, also again a Congress veteran, quit the Congress and joined the BJP because he again, much like Himanta Biswa Sarma, claimed he was humiliated, that he was insulted by the High Command. And many of these leaders say exactly this, that when we reach out to the High Command, there's no response that's given. We're not given any power, any role. And that's why veteran leaders leave. Jitin Prasad joined the BJP, again left the Congress. Now he stands, in fact, with as an MOS. The reason he cited for leaving the Congress was he said that there was discontent with people, with the Congress, and so he decided to jump ship. RPN Singh, another senior leader of the Congress, has joined the BJP, and he, in fact, said that the reason, or at least it was believed that it was because several of his key aides were denied tickets in the UP elections. And the list, of course, is long. Kapil Sibal, an independent Rajya Sabha MP now, says he was left out of key Congress meetings, wasn't part of some of the most crucial decision-making huddles, and so decided to call it quits with the Congress. Ghulam Nabi Azad, another prominent face of the Congress, quit and established his own party. Again, he said he was completely sidelined by Rahul Gandhi, claimed he was insulted. Milind Deora, another prominent name, joined the Shiv Sena, a young, articulate face of the Congress, but chose to leave the party because he said in a statement that he wanted to support the path of development, essentially decided enough is enough with the Congress. Ashok Chavan joined the BJP, and while he didn't really give any details, he just said it was for personal reasons. The Congress maintained that the reason he's done it is because he wanted to clean shit in several cases. The list is long. Baba Siddique joined NCP Ajit Pawar faction. He claimed it was no longer needed by the Congress, and that's why he took that particular step. In each of these cases, you will see that most of these leaders, many of them were senior leaders who were part of really the decision-making bodies, and yet say they were humiliated, they were insulted, they had no power to take any decisions, almost as if they were pushed into taking the decision by the High Command. And that's why you tend to question whether similarly Shashi Tharoor today is being pushed out by the Congress by not giving him any responsibilities, by ignoring all of his requests for more power in the Kerala Congress, especially with elections coming up in Kerala. Can the Congress really afford to be doing this? Well, the BJP is making the most of Tharoor's comments. We don't know if at this point there are any talks or dialogue between the BJP and Tharoor, but they're going to town with the Congress MP's comments, from mocking the Gandhis to even extending an invite to Tharoor, saying our doors are always open.
देखिए, शशि थरूर जी डिप्लोमेसी समझते हैं। यूएन में काफी लंबे अरसे तक उन्होंने काम किया है और आज उन्होंने भारतवर्ष के विषय में प्रधानमंत्री के निर्णय को सराहा है। मुझे लगता है कांग्रेस पार्टी के तमाम नेताओं को इससे शिक्षा लेनी चाहिए। हर बात पे भारतवर्ष के विरोध में बोलना, प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के खिलाफ बोलना, राहुल जी हो, चाहे मल्लिकार्जुन जी हो और चाहे इंडी गठबंधन के नेता हों, इन सबको आज सामने आकर शशि थरूर जी के इस स्टैंड की सराहना करनी चाहिए।
पूर्व में जो उन्होंने यूक्रेन के युद्ध के संबंध में जो बातें कही थी, वो उनको लगा कि वो ठीक नहीं था। भारत सरकार की नीति ठीक थी, उचित थी, देर आए दुरुस्त आए, अच्छी बात है। आज विदेश नीति में नरेंद्र मोदी की सरकार और उनके द्वारा स्वयं के लिए गए जो भी निर्णय होते हैं वो भारत के हित में होते हैं। जैसे शशि थरूर ने स्वीकारा है वैसे ही कांग्रेस पार्टी के बाकी नेता स्वीकारेंगे तो अच्छी बात है।
अगर शशि थरूर भविष्य में ऐसी इच्छा जताते हैं कि वो भारतीय जनता पार्टी का दामन थामना चाहेंगे तो क्या भारतीय जनता पार्टी उन्हें स्वागत करेगी?
देखिए, मैं तो बहुत ही छोटे लेवल पे हूँ, मैं जम्मू कश्मीर की राजनीति में सक्रिय हूँ। ये राष्ट्रीय नेतृत्व का फैसला होगा, लेकिन फिर भी भारतीय जनता पार्टी के दरवाजे हर एक के लिए खुले हैं। इसमें ऐसा नहीं कि कोई एक क्लास आएगी, कोई इस प्रकार का व्यक्ति आएगा, सबके लिए दरवाजे खुले हैं और इस प्रकार की जब बात होगी तो वो राष्ट्रीय नेतृत्व फैसला करेगा।
There's no doubt that this is going to keep the political speculation growing over what's really Shashi Tharoor's plan of action. Is he going to be leaving the Congress, or are these just candid comments that he's making? In the run-up to the Kerala elections, it's extremely crucial to see what really Shashi Tharoor chooses to do.